going on, guys? Jurassic here. Today we're going to be downloading BlueStacks. BlueStack is an Android emulator for Windows devices. So whenever you get to the BlueStacks.com, there's going to be two options, BlueStack 10 and BlueStack 5. BlueStack 10 is an advanced AI algorithm that basically can determine if you want to play a game through the cloud or if you have to download it using BlueStacks 5 anyways. And 10 automatically installs 5, so you may as well just go with the 10 one. If you are on a Windows 11 device, though, there is going to be a couple extra steps inside of your BIOS you're going to need to do to get the most out of your system. They do have a warning pop up at the end of the install that tells you exactly what you need to do, however. The only problem is, while this is downloading, we can go over to this page and show you guys real quick. So there's a thing called virtualization on Windows 11. Just in case you guys are on this, if you have an Intel CPU, you have to go into the BIOS, and then you'll have to come to where it says Intel Virtualization Technology and swap it from disabled to enabled. However, that's only if you're having performance issues. If you're fine with playing on the cloud, you don't need to worry about that. So all in all, it takes about 4 minutes or so to download everything depending on your internet speed. If you've done this before, it might go a little bit quicker if you've had previous BlueStack versions installed on your computer. And if you do have antivirus, you might need to pause it during the installation because sometimes it does cause a little bit of issues. Alright, so now that we have all that installed, you can look here in the bottom left-hand corner where it says you can launch BlueStacks from here. Basically, this is just going to be the user interface, sort of like your home screen on an Android device, but you haven't actually launched the emulator yet. So we'll just click here, that way we can get rid of that, and you can search for games here. This should have majority of the games from the Android store on this device, but you'll notice whenever you go to search for something, it's actually going to have to launch anyways. So if you search for Clash, for example, and then click on search in the Google Play Store, then it's going to launch the application. And I will have a link to this virtualization issue as well. That way, anyone who does have a Windows 11 device hopefully can figure it out. If not, I should be able to walk you through it. But this little performance warning message pops up if you're on Windows 11. And if you click read the fact, that'll take you to this page here. Go into your advanced mode, which would be found at the very top of the screen here. Click on CPU configurations. Then underneath CPU configurations, there's going to be Intel Virtualization Technology, and it's going to become disabled in Windows 11. You want to make sure it's turned on to enabled, and then just click Save Changes and Reset. AMD is basically the exact same way. Advanced, CPU configurations, SVM mode, and turn it on. This is just going to increase the performance for apps like this. But we can just click play on the cloud and ignore that for now. This is going to require you to have a Google account, however. Alright, so once you signed in, then you're going to be able to see several different Android apps, for example, Clash of Clans. And right here you can see the install button. It's going to download real quick, and we're going to launch it just so you guys can see what all is actually included. Alright, so once all that's installed, all you have to do is click on Open. And if you want to have it full screen, you come over here to the side, and there's going to be a couple different things. So you can toggle full screen, you got your volume controls, you have your lock mouse or cursor, game controls. Alright, so quick update. There was a little bit of issues since I did not have virtualization turned on, so I went ahead into the BIOS, did all that. Now we can go inside of our settings, and you'll notice that the custom has now been unlocked, and you can decide how many of your CPU cores are now using on BlueStacks. You can assign all of your cores to it, however, it does warn that the system is going to lag physically. So I recommend doing 6 if you have an 8-core CPU, and so on. Memory allocation, 4 gigabytes is basically the max you can do. If you click on custom, it actually maxes out at 4096 for this platform anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter too much. However, if you head over to the display, you can crank up the visuals to basically a 2K or a 1080p version. So we'll go and swap to 1080p. Never mind, looks like we have to save changes now and restart. Alright, so now we can come back into the settings. We've got display, we're at 1080p. Graphics, you can have it performance, compatibility, OpenGL, DirectX. Basically, it's just going to depend on your system. So if you click on this little question mark here, it should explain everything. And BlueStacks will tell you to switch modes if it has an issue with the mode that you're in already. So that's pretty cool. Audio, you can keep it at your Windows default. Gamepad, you can use a Xbox controller on your computer, in which case you're able to use that on your mobile games as well. Now, device is actually going to be able to decide which home screen your phone emulates. Basically, as soon as you turn on BlueStacks and connect it to your Google account, it is going to say, hey, congratulations on getting your OnePlus 3T. This is because that is the default profile. It's not because someone has your information. Or you could swap over to one of these other home screens if they're more comfortable to your liking. User data, you can clean up some of the data that it stores. Under advanced, you can see some of this other stuff. So yeah, that's most of the settings. But from inside the games that we play, you are actually able to sign into your accounts if the game supports it, to be able to load into a profile that you already have, which is what we were going to show as the Clash of Clans example. Over here at the top, so the game is going to relaunch, and now it's going to pull our profile from our phone. So it is back onto that, and now you guys can see that we are a little bit further up inside of the tiers here. Alright, so this is basically just going to teach us how to do stuff. Is it really going to be going through all of this? Alright, so yeah, now that we've got all that done, you can just click on things like normal. If you head over here to the right side of the screen, you can click on this little box here to make it full screen or not. Click F11 to get out of full screen. It does perform much better once you turn on virtualization, if you guys are curious. So you can use the control editor here, and that's basically going to be determining your different movements. So W is going to be down, up. Basically, you're just emulating your hand. For me, I found WASD to work normal, so the S and W were actually inverse, so I'm not sure why it's showing backwards from what I have experienced so far, so I'm going to keep it regular. But yeah, you can also customize it for your controller, a whole bunch of other stuff too. And you can always click reset or save whenever you're done. And once again, I do highly recommend turning on virtualization, by the way. And if you guys are curious, I'll pull up the task manager real quick. So I have it assigned to 6 cores of my 8 cores, and it's only using about 25%, and that's with OBS running in administrator mode recording already anyways, so it's not too taxing on your system. Memory, it's staying pretty consistent, nothing too crazy, so it doesn't look like it's using anything in the background that it shouldn't be. If you guys have issues turning on virtualization, please let me know down in the comments down below, and I will try to walk you guys through it on how to do it on your systems. Unfortunately, since the system needs to restart to enter the BIOS, I'm not able to get that footage from OBS currently. But if you guys enjoyed this little tutorial, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.